You're watching the award-winning GHS-TV, a nationally recognized student television station.
Welcome to Inspiring Leaders. I'm Donna Chandler Newman, your host for our show, and thank you for watching our program. Through this show, we meet community leaders and we examine how they're using their unique talents and skill sets to make a difference. And through our discussions, we hope to inspire others to discover and to share their own leadership abilities for the overall betterment of our community. Now, today on our show, we'll learn about the Kiwanis organization and the many causes they support in our community. In particular, we'll learn about the partnership that they've formed with Beth Shalom Synagogue to work on their latest project, Team Read. In our first segment, we'll meet Sue Olson, the new president of Kiwanis of Germantown, along with Brandy Miller, a past president and current member of the board of this organization. In our second segment, Sue and I will be joined by Rachel Shankman with Beth Shalom Synagogue and a partner with the Germantown Kiwanis on the Team Read project. Joining us now, Sue Olson, president, and Brandy Miller, board member of the Kiwanis Club of Germantown. Ladies, welcome.
Thank you for having us.
I'm so glad that you're with us today. Thank you so much for coming. Now, let's start with you, Sue. Sue, tell us a little bit briefly about your background and how you became involved with the Kiwanis Club of Germantown.
I was a nurse retired from the University of Michigan, and I moved here knowing only 2 people in the city. And I phoned the Kiwanis because I'd volunteered with them in Ann Arbor. And they invited us to a meeting. I moved with my daughter. And the 2 of us came to a meeting, and then we met Brandy and many other people who were so friendly that we immediately had a room full of friends.
Oh, I think that's great, and it is a really terrific organization with a great group of people. Now, Brandy, you also were not born in Tennessee,
No.
So you are kind of a transplant yourself. How did you find the Kiwanis, and when did you become involved?
I became involved about 10 years ago. A friend of mine invited me to come. She'd been inviting me for years, but I had a lot of family commitments that didn't allow me to fully dedicate it. And the first time I walked into Kiwanis, I said, oh, these people walk on water. I don't think this is for me, because the accomplishments in the room was astounding. But I said, well, there's always, you got to have a bottom level, so I'll join and see what happens. And I have just adored it. For 10 years now, I've been thrilled to be part of this great group.
Well, and if I'm not mistaken, the year that you were president, you were the top fundraiser that they'd ever had. Is that correct?
That is correct.
So I know that they enjoyed that, so I don't think you're the bottom of anybody's tier. So there we are. I know that you both do wonderful work there, and this organization is not new to the community. It's been around quite a while and has deep history with Germantown. It's a global organization, but with Germantown in particular. How many years, and what are we celebrating this year?
We're celebrating 60 years.
Wow.
And we have one member his name is Sewell Duncan. He has been a member for 59 3/4 years. He started just after it was formed in Germantown. And then we've got about 10 members who've been members for more than 30 years.
Oh, that's wonderful. And if I'm not mistaken, wasn't Bobby Lanier a driving force behind bringing the Kiwanis Club to Germantown?
I'm not sure.
Oh.
So I'll say I'm not sure, because it was before my time.
Well, actually, I am.
Right.
I interviewed Bobby ages ago, and this was before he passed, and this was one of his proudest accomplishments, was to put together Kiwanis. He thought it was the most wonderful club, and I do too. Tell me about your 60-year celebration.
We're having a 60-year celebration coming up on November 14th at the Great Hall. Just getting old members, new members, community people to come and celebrate with us. We are a not-for-profit. We are the only not-for-profit that has ever built a public structure in the city of Germantown.
Wow.
For the community. So that is one of our we took a loan out to pay for it, we paid it off, and it stands at Municipal Park. It is the pavilion that everyone uses. That is the Germantown Kiwanis Pavilion.
Well, you know, I didn't realize that it was actually named that, but it is a landmark in our community, and good for y'all.
Yeah.
That was, it's a very notable structure, and you know, a good place to meet people, you know,
Yep.
and it really is. So that's wonderful. You've got another something on the table. What
Well,
is that?
When I was president, the club was named Distinguished Club of the Year for Germantown. This is the highest award you can receive for your club, and I know Sue also will be receiving one of these for our club. Throughout the year, you have to meet certain criteria, and all I did was have a terrific secretary, which Sue has, and go along every month and meet the goals that Kiwanis International sets for you. However, this is a very coveted award, and not many people care to do it. I, the first day, said, I'm getting this award by hook or by crook, and I did it.
I have a feeling Sue will too. Sue, you've been president for what, 3 days?
Yes, yes.
Literally 3 days at this point. So anyhow, I know that you have got your sights on the same sorts of awards and everything, but let me ask you this. Tell me, how do you accomplish those awards? What is the mission of the organization?
Well, I think the awards are based on a lot of factors that have to do with what are we doing for the community. Are we maintaining our membership? Are we taking care of the people who belong to us? Not only our members, but also the community. And I think that that's really quite important. And do we educate our officers so that everybody knows what the Kiwanis goals and missions are, and that we have participation in the projects that we have going in the city.
And you have a lofty mission because it's global, right?
Yes.
You are wanting global change, one child, one community at a time. Isn't that right? And so you accomplish that by starting early, a number of organizations in schools, like
We have the K Kids. That's for children who are in grade school. And then in the middle school, we've got the Builders Club. And in the high school, we've got Key Clubs. And in the colleges, we've got Circle K. And then at Madonna Learning Center, we have 2 action clubs. And each group works to do community service. And I think that's the main value, to instill a sense of community service in children from a very young age, so that they grow up to be productive and contributing citizens.
And contributing being the big piece of that. You know, when you talk about that, tell me about one of those service projects that one of those groups does.
Well,
or did.
One year I met somebody while I was volunteering at MIFA, and she was in charge of diapers. And diapers are a valued commodity for the very poor people. And so we had a diaper drive, and that was a lot of fun. All of the K Kids gathered diapers from people whose babies were growing out of them and all the rest of that sort of stuff. And what started as just a small project ended up with 2 truckloads full of diapers that we delivered.
That's amazing. It really, you know, besides those clubs, I know that you're deeply involved in other ways that you contribute to the community. Like you contribute to GCT, and who else?
Please.
We do GCT, we do the library, we do Madonna Learning Center, we do Books from Birth, enormous amount of donations. We have 3 tiers of donations. We also give scholarships to graduating seniors every single year. So we give away tens of thousands of dollars that we raise penny by penny, and then we give it away.
And as the Queen of Germantown fundraising, Brandy, why don't you tell us how you raise the money?
We have several key events. We have the Pancake Breakfast, which has been around 50+ years. It's held in usually around March or April. Everyone from the community comes. We cook on a a griddle literally 6 feet across. You pour the pancake, and by the time it comes around, it comes off.
And it's delicious, may I say.
And you can, as much as you want, children, grandparents, it's a day of celebration. We also have a golf tournament, which is fun. We do the festival. We've been long-standing members of the Germantown Festival. We have a spaghetti dinner. We have a chili cook-off. Wherever we can raise funds, but also be together. The key to this club is it's long-standing members, and the reason is we're not just Kiwanians, we are friends and Kiwanians.
Yes,
so people want to be there because it's like you're going to be with your friends, why not?
So if you wanted to join Kiwanis, who are you looking for? Who's the typical Kiwanian?
Well, we have people, our newest member had been a member of the Key Club, and also the K-Kids and the Builders Club.
Wow.
And she just joined. She's a graduate student, and she, I think, is 24. And our oldest one is Sewell Duncan, who, I won't say how old he is, but if he's been a member for 60 years, he's older than 60.
Yeah.
But it's amazing, though. We do have some members who are in their 80s, and they're still very, very active participants. And then we've got business people and students, and sometimes it's a multi-generational. The father was a member, and the daughter, and now the grandchildren. So it's very nice.
I think that's wonderful. Now, if I wanted to know more information and get involved, where would I go?
Facebook, the Germantown Kiwanis.
Germantown Kiwanis on Facebook is where I would look. Now, in our next segment, we're going to talk about a project called Team Read, which is key to you guys. Isn't literacy your theme this year?
It is.
And so since it is, we're going to be talking about this new, or for y'all, new Team Read program and what it is and its impact on the organization. So I'm looking forward to hearing more about that. And meanwhile, I want to thank you both for being here, and thank you both for the wonderful job you do for the community.
Thank you.
I appreciate it. We're going to pause now for a short break, and when we return, Sue and I will be joined by Rachel Shankman, a partner in their Team Read project.
When you're an adult, you need to grab a bow and arrow.
Theater prepares students in a lot of different ways.
I think it offers a great place to learn about yourself.
When you're an adult.
It'll teach you how to be a better communicator. It'll teach you how to work with people better. And it'll teach you how to get outside your comfort zone.
You have to be disciplined. You have to get your work done. So I think it's a really important lesson that I've learned.
Art in society is horrible.
So we offer Intro to Theater, which is a very, obviously a beginner's class. We offer Acting 1, which is a class where we really focus on the techniques in acting.
We're talking about you.
We offer Technical Theater, which is all the behind-the-scenes stuff such as lighting, sound, set building, construction, things like that. And then we also offer Speech, which is a class where you learn how to give informative speeches. You also learn how to communicate interpersonally and intrapersonally.
Thomas Jefferson once stated that all men are created equal.
I think what makes us unique is we hold ourselves to a certain standard and we don't drop below that standard.
When folks are tribal, back before the Bible, they were liable to dance when the crops.
The talent that's here at the school is just so impressive, and it's so exciting to see the students not only work on the stage but behind the scenes.
Just the moon.
It is hard work, yes, but it also is fun and enjoyable.
Challenge!
The specificity of what is taught and required to be learned here in this department is so particular that they're going away with abilities and skills that other schools aren't teaching.
For more information about the Kappa program, visit ghskappa.com or call 755-7775. You're watching the award-winning GHS-TV, a nationally recognized student television station.
Welcome back. I'm Donna Chandler Newman, and you are watching Inspiring Leaders. Today we're talking about the Kiwanis Club of Germantown. We're so pleased that President Sue Olson continues her discussion with us, and we are delighted to be joined now by Rachel Shankman with Beth Shalom Synagogue, partnering with the Germantown Kiwanis on their Team Read project. Welcome, Rachel, and thank you for staying, Sue. I appreciate that. And Rachel, it's so nice to see you.
It's great to be here. Thanks for inviting us.
Well, thank you. And now you're not a Kiwanian. You are with Beth Shalom Synagogue, right?
That's correct.
So tell me how in the world you guys got associated with each other to partner on Team Read.
Well, first of all, we're so delighted with the partnership because one of the wonderful byproducts is making new friends and getting to know people like Sue. So we heard that Germantown Elementary School was interested in starting a Team Read program. Personally, I had been involved with Team Read since 2014, since I retired from facing history at ourselves, and worked for about 5 years at Oak Forest. Then COVID came about and there was a hiatus, and we were very eager to restart the program. And Team Read, from Beth Shalom's perspective, is part of our Tikkun Olam committee, which means repairing the world. So we're eager to do things in the community. So once we heard that the school was interested, I think Sue, you may have reached out to me, right? I think that's the evolution of this, and said, you know, that Germantown Kiwanis was interested, and we said Beth Shalom is interested, let's try it. So last year was the very first effort, and we saw great results and great progress, and wonderful, wonderful new relationships that were built.
I think that's great. And is it an unusual partnership between a synagogue and a civic group, or?
Well, this may be the first that I know of.
Yeah.
I know that their Team Read programs are across the city, and sometimes they're faith-based, sometimes they're civic organizations, but this, I think, is rather unique.
Well, we know it works, and that's a good thing, isn't it? Tell me about Team Read itself. I mean, I got to tell you, I'm frightened to do something like that. I'm no teacher. I have absolutely no idea how to do that. How does it work? What do you do at Team Read?
Well, and then Sue, please jump in at any point, because Sue's really the lead on this. So I think the primary focus is to give our students one-on-one attention. The students who are chosen to be part of Team Read have great potential. And many of us are not teachers, so we're volunteers who see the potential in students, who want to encourage them, who want them to come out of this loving reading. And they're not competitive with each other. This is about taking students from where they are. They're tested at the beginning, so we sort of know the level of their ability to recognize sight words. The whole program is that we know that if students in second grade can master a certain number of short sight words, then by third grade they are reading to learn rather than just learning to read. So that's a critical distinction. And the research has shown that if, by the end of second year, if they don't have mastery of at least some of these words, they're already struggling. So we can give them the one-on-one attention that sometimes a teacher, when you have 25 or 30 kids in a class, can't do.
How did you put that learning to read instead of?
By second grade, if you are learning to read, you're recognizing these words, we know that they can understand what they mean, then they already have vocabulary. So by third grade, they are reading to learn.
And that's quite the distinction, isn't it?
Yes.
Well, now, Sue, again, you had been interested in literacy and improving that in our area. Tell me, Team Read appealed to you immediately?
Well, I had some prior experience with a brother who was dyslexic, and I adopted a child who was speech and language delayed. And so the idea of how do you teach this was kind of fascinating. It's a problem. It needs to be solved. And the children's self-esteem, I think, is really directly related to their academic ability. And sometimes I think children get slotted, and their self-esteem suffers because they are not the top readers in the class. but every child that we have has the potential to be. And once they realize that they have the potential to do as well as the other children, they take off. Like we've had kids last year, I think we had one child who started out and he could barely read the first 100 words.
Wow.
And we're based on the Fry's first 1,000 words. And so by the time he finished, he could read 750 words.
Wow.
Which is well beyond what a second grader usually does. But it was because he believed in himself, because we believed in him, and we challenged him. And I think that that is really the key. And the children form a bond with their coaches. And even this year when I was in the hallway, several kids came up and hugged me and said, "I remember you." And that's a good feeling. And it's a good feeling for the children to be recognized. And another child whose first language was not English struggled. And that's a struggle as well for the kids. And by the end of the year, on the last day, there was a child trying to pick out a book. And this child came up and said, "I have a book that I could recommend. It was one of my favorites."
Oh my gracious.
And so that's a really good feeling, that you build that much confidence in a child that they'll reach out and give advice to another child. So
That's amazing. It really is.
And
So
the kids are so cute. And
I think that's great. You weren't a teacher, you were a nurse. So
I was.
yeah. Now you did a teacher sort of thing because you did Facing History and Ourselves.
Right, I worked with teachers. I
Right.
helped train teachers, but yes, absolutely. So our volunteers really range from one of the former mayors of Germantown is team read coach. So we really have attracted some extraordinary people who, again, the basis is they love kids, right? And they feel like they can contribute 1 hour a week. We hope, ideally, we would like all of our students to have 2 coaches, so that they really have that extra reinforcement of their, reading. I must say, we've had wonderful support from the school. I think they really appreciate it, from the teachers, from parents, because they do see the value of the coaches as well as the progress the students make.
You know, the city of Germantown has also been very supportive, haven't they, Sue?
they certainly have.
Yeah.
And Mayor Mike Palazzolo has shown an interest in it. Mark White has also been interested in it. And one of our volunteers is Alderman Sherry Hicks. And she has been a faithful volunteer. This is her second year coming each and every time. So, and the kids, when we have pizza parties a couple times a year, and she's given speeches, and she said, "And the mayor is very proud of you." And the kids go, "The mayor?" and it's just an added incentive for them that makes it, it just makes it
Something special.
something very special.
I'm really glad. That's pretty amazing. So basically, this program allows you to go into a room and have one-on-one time with the student, correct? And so, as you say, they're coaches. You're coaches. You're not teachers, right? So how does it work exactly? You walk into the room together, and then what?
Well, we meet in the cafeteria.
Oh,
And so there may be 8 coaches going at the same time.
I see.
And so the kids can look down the road and see their peers doing the same thing. And that's important, that they're not isolated. They're part of a group. They're part of a team. And we go through the words, we play games, and we make it real. And then they choose a book, and we read it with them. And if they stumble over words, we encourage them. And if they whiz through it, we encourage them to read a harder book.
Oh, okay. So when you say you encourage them to do what? Sound it out or to?
Right. We have a sheet or flip cards that have the words on them, and so we want them first to recognize the words, and then comprehension's really important, so we ask them to put them into a sentence. We want them to really demonstrate that they have mastery of that word, and so that's the first portion of a very pretty structured program. And then, you know, I particularly love to have them read. I like to do things like anticipation with them, so if the book has a neat illustration, I want to know, what do you think this book is about? And so it's a conversation, it's a relationship that's built throughout the year with the coach and the student. And then games are always fun to reinforce what they're learning, and they love getting a sticker at the end of every session.
And you know, it's been proven again and again that your success in life, to a large part, depends on how much you read and how early you read, isn't it?
Absolutely.
So you basically are setting them up for lifelong learning, right?
Absolutely, and we know that unfortunately throughout our city there are many students who are not reading at grade level. So we feel like between our two organizations we have similar missions. We want this to be the best community. Beth Shalom does it, and Kiwanis does it, and we know that if we can break that cycle of children not being able to read, that it is a lifelong, you know, gift that we're giving them.
So who benefits from this is the student themselves and the entire community.
That's exactly
right. Right? Yeah? Well, I'll tell you, you guys are doing some excellent work, and Team Read is kind of new to me, but I'm very, very proud to learn about it. If I wanted to get involved, how would I do that?
Well, you could go to the Kiwanis Facebook page, and there's a phone number there that you could call, and we would certainly be happy to set you up. And for those who are members of Beth Shalom, they could call Rachel. And if they're from another organization, they're more than welcome to come.
Perfect. I'm glad. So not limited to anyone. Come and volunteer. We need the work. We need the help, right?
And we're happy to help train them. You know, it's funny to see some coaches come in who are business people, run, you know, CEOs, but they're, what do we do with second graders? So we are happy to have them shadow us. We're happy to train them. So.
That's excellent. Well, thank you both for the excellent work you do, and thank you for your work with Team Read. It's good for all of us.
Thank you so much for having us.
And thank you for being with us today for Inspiring Leaders. We appreciate our guests on today's show, Sue Olson and Brandy Miller, both with the Germantown Kiwanis, along with Rachel Shankman on the Team Read project. I hope you've enjoyed hearing about the great work of the Germantown Kiwanis, and that you particularly enjoyed learning about their partnership with Beth Shalom Synagogue on the Team Read project. I know I did. Now, if you'd like to learn more about the Team Read program, please visit their website, teamread.org. And if you've expressed or been inspired by the excellent work of the Germantown Kiwanis and you want to know more, to donate, to get involved in any way, including Team Read, you can find their information on their Facebook page of Germantown Kiwanis. Again, refer to Germantown Kiwanis Facebook page to join in their exceptional work for the betterment of the community. Now, thank you once more for watching our show. If you're interested in the air dates of Inspiring Leaders or for our station's complete programming guide, you can visit GHS-TV.org, where we're streaming live 24 hours a day. You could keep up with us on GHS-TV by visiting our website. We hope you'll like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. Thank you for joining us for today's show. Be sure and watch our show, Inspiring Leaders, again next month.